Gee, I sure would love to do video explorations of board games like my hero Scott Nichols of Board Games with Scott, but I don't have the necessary equipment, or any money, or any technical skill at all. Oh, screw it, I'll just make a slideshow of a bunch of blurry pictures and pretend it's a professional quality video. Welcome to Drew Explains and Reviews Board Games on Video with Drew. Today we'll be looking at Fjords, a two-player tile-laying game by Franz Benno de Longe and published by Rio Grande Games. Now, a fjord is a long, narrow, deep inlet between cliffs. This game has nothing whatsoever to do with these. A more honest, though less marketable game would have been farms. Or maybe farmers. Or maybe a fancy way of saying farmer in some dead language. The game is actually about placing farms in strategic locations so that you will control the most number of fields. Let's look at the components. Box, concise and clear rules, some wooden farm and wooden discs in two colors, and a bunch of tiles. All in all, I was very pleased with the components. They are pretty minimalist, but they look nice, they work great, and they don't take up much space. So to set up the game, each player takes the farms and discs in their color. You shuffle up the tiles and place them in face-down stacks, and you place the three starting tiles, which have these differently colored backs, face up in the middle of your playing space, like so. On your turn, you will take one of the face-down tiles, look at it, and then add it to the landscape already on the board. When you add a tile, it has to follow a few simple rules. First, it has to be touching at least two other tiles, so here won't work. Second, it has to match up with every tile it's touching, so here won't work because land can't touch water like that. Finally, you can't place it so that it would create a separate landmass. So if at some point in the game the board looked like this, you would not be able to place a tile here because all the land has to be connected together. As long as you follow these rules, you can place the tile anywhere it fits. Now, if you happen to get a tile that cannot be legally placed anywhere, first confirm with your opponent that it does not fit, and then just set it aside face up and draw a new tile. If at some point later in the game the face-up tile will fit, then you can choose to take it and place it instead of taking a face-down tile on your turn. Whenever you place a tile, you have the option of putting one of your farms on it. Unlike other tile-laying games, they can only go on the land, never on the water or mountains. You only have 4 farms, so you won't place a farm on most of your turns, but you want to place them as strategically as possible to maximize how many fields you'll be able to place, which I'll go over in just a bit. So players take turns placing fields and farms until no more can be placed. Then whichever player did not draw the last tile gets to be the first one to place a field. When you place a field, it has to be adjacent to either one of your farms or one of your previously played fields by land. You cannot cross water or mountains to place a field. Playing first here is very important. As you see, if brown goes first, then blonde's farm here will be very isolated. And if blonde goes first, then brown's farm will be very isolated. So you do not want to be the last one to draw a tile. Now players take turns placing fields until there are no more contested territories, like this. At this point, each player fills in the remaining spaces they control, and then whoever has managed to play more fields is the winner. In this case, it happens to be a tie. Both players have managed to play 15 fields. That's okay, though, because all of that was just the first round. Now you record your scores, shuffle up all the tiles, and start all over again. Play 3 rounds just like that, and the highest score wins at the end. So what do I think of Fjords? It's one of my favorite tile-laying games, and easily my favorite two-player tile-laying game. It's not too complicated and pretty quick, so it's a very good one to play with your non-gamer partner or friend, or even with kids. I give it 4 out of 5 stars. Thanks for joining us on Drew Explains and Reviews Board Games on Video with Drew. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Bye-bye.